Rain poured down heavily on the dark streets of New Terra. The human colony on the edge of the galaxy, neon lights flickered from broken signs, reflecting on puddles that stretched like small mirrors across the alley. Agent Rook moved carefully, his boots splashing in the water. Keeping his hand close to the sidearm under his coat, he had been tracking a group of alien smugglers for weeks. Following clues that led him through the worst parts of the city, the air smelled of wet metal and ozone, and every shadow seemed alive, moving just out of sight. Suddenly, a flash of purple ran past him, too fast to be human. Rook turned sharply, aiming his weapon, and saw a young girl. Her skin glowing faintly under the neon lights, she was small, maybe 15. Her hair a shimmering violet, eyes wide with fear. She ran toward him, her hands raised, and shouted, "Please! Don't arrest my sister." Rook froze for a moment, confusion and suspicion battling in his mind. Aliens didn't usually beg cops for help. They ran. They hid or they attacked, but the desperation in her voice made him pause. Made him question what he thought he knew. The girl stumbled, almost falling, and Rook instinctively reached out to steady her. She gasped, clutching his arm. "They're going to kill her if you let them take her." Before he could ask who they were, a deep rumble echoed from the end of the alley. Shadows shifted and black-armored soldiers appeared. Their helmets glowing with red sensors, they moved fast, like predators, scanning the alley with deadly precision. The girl looked at Rook, her eyes pleading, "If they get her, your whole planet will die." Rook's heart raced, but he stayed calm, hiding his fear. He knew he had a choice: follow the law, arrest the girl for being in a restricted zone, or trust her and risk everything. He saw the fear in her eyes again and made a decision. "Tell me everything," he said quietly. Keeping his voice low, the girl's name was Lyra, and she spoke quickly, almost tripping over her words. Her sister, Sora, had been captured, but not by criminals, by the government. She said. Rook blinked, disbelief mixing with suspicion. Governments didn't usually capture children, and aliens even less so. Lyra tugged at his coat, pulling him toward a small side door. "Please, follow me," she whispered urgently. Rook didn't move, hesitating for only a second before the sound of gunfire from above made him react. They ran together into the narrow tunnels behind the building, their footsteps echoing off wet concrete. The walls were slick, covered with strange alien symbols that glowed faintly in the dark. Rook's hand stayed on his weapon, scanning for threats, but the girl seemed to move without fear. Guided by some inner sense as they ran, Lyra explained more. Her words hurried and broken. Her sister had something inside her. She said, something alive, something dangerous. The government wanted it for experiments, for weapons. If they succeeded, billions could die, she whispered. Almost choking on her words, Rook tried to understand. Tried to process the impossible. Aliens with powers? Children hunted by humans? It sounded like a nightmare, yet her fear was real, and he could feel it in the electric charge of the air. A sudden noise made them freeze, metal scraping on concrete. Soft, deliberate, a patrol drone rounded the corner, scanning the tunnel with a blue light. Lyra's eyes widened and she grabbed his arm. Pulling him into a shadowed alcove, they pressed their bodies against the wall. Breathing quietly, the drone moved closer, its sensors glowing, humming ominously. Rook felt his pulse in his ears, ready to fire, ready to run, ready to save this girl's sister, but Lyra whispered a single word: "She." It senses fear, not weapons. The drone passed by, but the sound of more soldiers came from deeper in the tunnels. Rook realized they were trapped, running out of time. He looked at Lyra, her purple skin almost glowing in panic. She shook her head, almost apologetically. "We have to hurry or it's too late." They moved again, faster now, hearts pounding. Every corner could hide danger, every shadow could be the end. Rook wondered how he had gone from law enforcer to protector of an alien child, but as Lyra's hand brushed against his, he felt something shift, a strange trust forming. Her story was unbelievable, yet her fear made it true enough for him to act. And somewhere in the tunnels, Sora's scream echoed, high-pitched and desperate. It was a sound that would not leave Rook's mind, a sound that told him the next moments would decide everything. As they turned another corner, the lights of the patrols flashed. Rook and Lyra ran faster, their breaths loud. Their shadows stretching on the walls, the city above did not know the war that was beginning below. Rook realized that this was only the start, only the first choice in a story that could change the fate of worlds. And Lyra's whispered words followed him as they vanished deeper into the tunnels. Please, don't let them take her. The tunnels twisted like a labyrinth beneath New Terra, dark and wet, with walls that seemed to hum with some hidden energy. Agent Rook followed closely behind Lyra, her small hand gripping his arm tightly, guiding him through turns he could never have guessed. Every step echoed, bouncing off the walls, and every shadow seemed alive. Moving just out of sight, the air was thick, heavy with moisture and fear, and Rook could feel the tension pressing down on him. "Where are we going?" he asked, his voice low, careful not to draw attention. "Somewhere safe." "At least for now," Lyra whispered, her violet eyes darting nervously. She led him through narrow passages, over slippery pipes, and past strange glowing symbols etched into the walls. They seemed alive, pulsing faintly like a heartbeat, and Rook shivered, unsure if it was fear or the cold. "They're everywhere," Lyra said suddenly, stopping in a shadowed alcove. Rook's hand instinctively went to his weapon, but she shook her head. "Not the soldiers. They are easy to see," she said, her voice trembling. "It's the Watchers. Machines that hide in the walls, in the air, everywhere. They can sense more than just movement." Rook frowned, trying to process what she said. "Watchers?" he asked, raising his eyebrows. "Machines," she repeated, almost bitterly. "They see fear, anger, even thoughts sometimes. If they know we're here, they will alert the soldiers." Suddenly, a faint hum filled the tunnel, like electricity mixed with a whisper. Lyra froze, eyes wide, and grabbed Rook's arm again. "They know we're here," she hissed, and they pressed against the wall, shadows blending into darkness. Rook held his breath, feeling the panic rise. A soft click sounded nearby, and then nothing. The Watchers had passed. For now, but the threat remained, invisible and deadly. They moved again. Slower this time, careful, almost like hunters themselves. Lyra's glowing skin pulsed faintly as she whispered something under her breath. Rook could feel a strange warmth from her, a power he did not understand. "She's feeling her sister," Lyra said, her voice almost a murmur. "Your sister?" Rook asked, confused. "My sister." "Sora?" she said, glancing behind her. "The Starseed inside her is unstable. It senses danger and it reacts." Rook frowned. Starseed. He had no idea what it was, but the fear in her voice made it real enough. The tunnels ended in a large chamber, abandoned long ago, with broken machinery and cables hanging like vines from the ceiling. Lyra led him to a metal door, rusty but still strong, and pressed a hidden panel. It slid open, revealing a small, dimly lit room, filled with strange alien devices and containers. "This is safe. For now," she said, her voice shaking, "but we can't stay long. They will find us." Rook looked around, feeling the weight of the danger pressing on him. "This is a hideout?" he asked, stepping inside. "Yes, but not just ours," Lyra replied. "Many aliens like us have hidden here over the years, avoiding capture, avoiding death." A sudden noise made them both jump, a soft whirring sound. Mechanical and deliberate, Rook's hand went to his weapon again. But Lyra grabbed it, shaking her head. "It's coming from above. Drones. They are scanning the building." Rook peered through a cracked window. Outside, the city lights reflected on wet streets, and small black drones hovered silently, scanning. "They will find us soon," he said quietly. "We need a plan." Lyra shook her head, panic rising. "We don't have time for plans. We must move now, or Sora. She will die." Rook felt the weight of her words. A strange pull in his chest. For the first time, he realized that this wasn't just about law and order anymore. This was about saving a life, saving a sister, saving maybe even a planet he didn't fully understand. But he knew one thing: he would not let them take Sora. Suddenly, the room shook violently and sparks flew from the ceiling. A drone had found their hiding spot. Dropping down with red sensors glowing, Rook grabbed Lyra's hand, pulling her into a narrow passage behind a stack of crates. The drone's searchlight swept across the room. Stopping just short of them, they held their breaths as it hovered. Whirring, scanning, then, as suddenly as it came, it moved on. Leaving them trembling but alive, Lyra's hands were shaking, her purple skin glowing brighter than before. "I can feel her." "Sora?" she whispered, almost crying. "She's close, in danger. She needs me." Rook nodded, feeling a strange mixture of fear and determination. "Then we go," he said firmly. "We find her. Together." As they moved deeper into the tunnels, the hum of the Watchers grew louder. The shadows seemed to move faster, closer. As if the tunnels themselves were alive, every step could be their last. Every turn could lead to death, and somewhere ahead, Sora's scream echoed faintly, high-pitched, desperate. It was a sound that would haunt Rook forever. It was also a sound that pushed him forward, faster, braver, because he realized one simple truth: some things were more important than law, than order, than rules. Some things were family, and he would risk everything to protect it. The tunnels opened into a massive underground chamber, larger than anything Rook had ever seen. Strange, glowing plants climbed the walls, and pools of glowing water reflected the ceiling like mirrors. Lyra stopped, gasping, and pointed to a faint purple light in the distance, pulsing like a heartbeat. "That's her." "Sora," she whispered, almost trembling. "She's calling me." "But she's unstable." Rook felt the tension in the air, electric and dangerous. If they went further, they risked the Watchers, the drones, the soldiers above, and maybe even Sora herself? But he had no choice now. The chase had begun, and it would not end until Sora was safe, or they all died trying. And with a deep breath, Rook stepped forward, following the purple glow into the unknown, not knowing if the next moment would bring salvation or destruction. The chamber was vast, almost alive, glowing with faint purple light that pulsed like a heartbeat. Rook followed Lyra carefully, every step echoing against the smooth alien walls. His eyes widened at the strange plants climbing the walls. Their leaves translucent and shimmering, pools of water reflected the light, rippling as if sensing their presence. Somewhere in the distance, the faint scream of Sora vibrated in the air, haunting and urgent. "She's close," Lyra whispered, her voice trembling. "But she's losing control." Rook glanced at her, noticing the glow of her skin, brighter than before, almost like a warning. "Control of what?" he asked, his voice low, careful. "The Starseed," Lyra said, gripping his arm. "It lives inside her. It's alive. It's powerful. And dangerous if it feels threatened." Rook paused, trying to understand. "Starseed? What is it exactly?" "It's hard to explain," Lyra said, shaking her head. "It's not a weapon, not really. It's a living organism, older than any planet, older than humans. It can heal worlds, but it can also destroy if forced or harmed." Rook's mind raced, trying to process the impossible: a living organism inside a child, a power that could save or destroy. "And the government wants it?" he asked cautiously. "Yes," Lyra said, her violet eyes narrowing. "They want to take it from her, experiment on it, weaponize it, but they don't understand it. If they succeed, billions could die." A sudden thrum shook the floor, and the glowing plants quivered. Rook looked around, tense, realizing that the Starseed's power wasn't dormant. It was reacting to danger, reacting to fear, reacting to the presence of the humans around it. Lyra held his hand, her grip surprisingly strong. "I can feel her. She's scared, Rook, and it's making the Starseed unstable," she said softly, almost pleading. They approached a glowing pool at the center of the chamber, and Rook gasped. Floating above the water was Sora, her small body suspended in a translucent cocoon of light. Her purple skin glimmered, but she looked pale, her eyes wide and panicked. The Starseed pulsed inside her, visible through her chest, glowing and flickering like a living star. Her energy hummed through the chamber, vibrating against the walls, making Rook's teeth tingle. She's dying. If we don't do something, she won't survive, Lyra said, her voice breaking. Rook felt a surge of responsibility, fear, and determination. He had started this chase thinking he was just a cop, following orders, but now, standing here, seeing the helpless child glowing with alien power, he realized it was more than law and duty. It was life itself, fragile and precious, and it was his choice to protect it. Can you stabilize her? Rook asked, looking at Lyra. I don't know, she admitted, tears welling in her violet eyes. I can try, but it will take focus. And the Starseed is angry. Scared, confused. The floor shook violently, and Rook grabbed her hand to steady her. A sharp, high-pitched scream filled the chamber, echoing off the walls. Sora's body trembled inside the cocoon of light, pulsing violently. Rook could feel the power of the Starseed hitting him. Warm and frightening, the air was alive with energy. Making the hair on his arm stand, Lyra closed her eyes, concentrating. Sending her thoughts toward her sister, Rook noticed that the glowing light seemed to respond to her voice. Soft and melodic, the Starseed pulsed with rhythm, almost as if it recognized her. They're coming, Lyra whispered, opening one eye. The soldiers above. They've tracked us here. They'll try to take her. Now. Suddenly, the entrance to the chamber shook as if the walls themselves were under attack. Metallic feet pounded against the floor, and shadows appeared at the edge of the light. Rook drew his weapon instinctively, taking cover behind a rock-like formation. The black-armored soldiers poured in, their eyes glowing red, scanning the chamber. Stay calm, Rook said quietly to Lyra. We can't panic. We have to protect her. The Starseed pulsed violently, responding to the danger. The cocoon around Sora flickered, bright and unstable. Sending sparks of energy across the chamber, Lyra moved closer, her hands glowing as she reached toward her sister. It's okay. Sister, I'm here. You're safe, she whispered, almost chanting. The light around Sora started to stabilize, dimming slightly, her screams turning into soft whimpers. Rook realized something important. This wasn't just alien power. It was a bond between the sisters, something humans couldn't create. Something only pure care and love could influence. It was a force older than war, older than greed, older than fear itself. And as long as that bond remained, the Starseed could be controlled, could be protected, could survive. The soldiers paused at the edge of the chamber. Unsure, sensing the strange energy, Rook gritted his teeth. Knowing this was only the first battle, the Starseed had shown its power. But the real fight to save Sora had only just begun, and somewhere in the shadows, Rook felt a creeping fear. This was bigger than him. Bigger than Lara, it was bigger than New Terra itself. But he also felt something else. Stronger than fear, determination, courage, and an unshakable will to protect life. For the first time, he realized why he had been chosen to see this. To be part of it, and as Lyra whispered to her sister, guiding the Starseed to calm pulses, Rook knew the chase was far from over. But now he understood the stakes, and the stakes were everything. The Starseed flickered, stabilized, and Sora's eyes opened, soft and terrified. She looked at Lyra, then at Rook, and whispered a single word: help. The entrance to the underground chamber shook violently as the black-armored soldiers advanced. Rook gritted his teeth, gripping his weapon, feeling the pulse of the Starseed in Sora's chest. Lyra held her sister's hand tightly, her own glow brightening. Feeding the Starseed with her energy, the air was thick with tension, every heartbeat echoing like a drum of warning. They're too many, Lyra whispered, fear in her voice. We can't fight them all. Rook scanned the chamber, noting the fallen pipes, jagged rocks, and the pools of glowing water. This isn't just about fighting, he said. It's about strategy. We distract them, get Sora out. The soldiers stepped forward, their boots heavy, echoing in the cavern, red sensors glowing, scanning the chamber with deadly precision. Rook felt a cold sweat run down his spine, but his mind worked quickly. He motioned for Lyra to follow, and together they moved toward a narrow tunnel at the edge of the chamber. It was risky, barely wide enough for one person at a time, But it was their only chance. A soldier raised a weapon, scanning, and Rook fired a stun shot at a nearby wall. The explosion of sparks distracted the others. Giving them precious seconds to run, Lyra whispered to Sora, guiding her through the pain. It's okay. We're here. Just stay calm. Sora's small hand trembled, but she obeyed, her body glowing faintly as the starseed pulsed in rhythm with Lyra's words. They ran through the narrow tunnel, the walls closing in like a cage. The soldiers followed, relentless, their red lights cutting through the darkness. Rook used his cop training, ducking, weaving, and pulling Lyra and Sora behind obstacles. He fired precise shots, disabling a few guards without harming the sisters. But the echoes of gunfire made every second feel like a lifetime. Suddenly, a section of the tunnel collapsed behind them, blocking the path they had come from. Rook cursed under his breath. Realizing they had only one way forward, the starseed pulsed violently inside Sora. Sensing the danger, her cries filled the tunnel. High-pitched and piercing, Lyra moved closer, chanting softly. Feeding her energy into the starseed, Rook felt the vibrations in the walls. The energy growing, almost alive, almost sentient. They reached the edge of the chamber. A huge glass-like wall ahead. Through it, they could see the lab above. Scientists manipulating strange machines. Sora was inside a containment pod, lights flashing red. The starseed restrained by energy fields. Rook's jaw tightened. This was the core of the operation. The place that threatened Sora's life? We have to go in, he said, determination hardening his voice. Lyra nodded, her hands glowing brighter. I can distract the guards. You get her out? The sisters shared a glance, a silent promise, and Rook felt a strange awe at the bond between them. It was stronger than fear, stronger than power, stronger than anything he had ever known. They burst into the lab. Alarms screaming, red lights flashing, the soldiers and scientists turned in shock. Weapons raised, Lyra extended her hands, waves of purple energy flowing from her. The starseed pulsed through the room, knocking machines off tables. Cutting power lines, Rook ran to Sora's pod, overriding the locks, sweat running down his face. Sora trembled inside the pod, the starseed glowing dangerously. Stay calm, Sora, Lyra whispered. We're here. We've got you. Rook lifted the pod lid, pulling Sora into his arms. The starseed reacted violently, energy flashing across the room. Rook and Lyra held her together, their hands glowing. Trying to stabilize the starseed, the soldiers fired. But the energy field from the starseed deflected the shots. Machines exploded, sparks flew. Smoke filled the lab. Rook shouted, "Move!" Now, and they ran toward the emergency exit. As they neared the exit, the floor shook violently, and one of the soldiers jumped, trying to grab Sora. Lyra threw a blast of psychic energy, knocking him back. The starseed pulsed in response to fear and anger. Almost exploding, Rook pushed through the chaos. Carrying Sora, following Lyra's lead, they leapt through a broken window. Shattering glass raining around them, the emergency lift waited below, and they dove in, pressing the button for escape. The lab behind them erupted, alarms blaring. Machinery melting under the starseed's energy, Rook and Lyra held Sora, keeping her calm, her glow dimming slightly as they moved away from danger. Outside, the rain poured again, cold and cleansing, washing away the chaos. Rook looked at the sisters, their faces pale but alive. He realized they had survived, but the fight was not over. The government would not give up, and the starseed was still a target. Sora whispered, her voice weak, "Thank you." Lyra hugged her tightly, tears running down her glowing face. Rook felt a strange sense of purpose, a new understanding of courage. This wasn't about rules or orders or power. It was about protecting life, even against impossible odds. And as the storm raged around them, Rook knew that the real challenge was still ahead. The starseed was alive, powerful, and wanted. And the next battle would decide not just the sisters' fate, but the fate of worlds. The storm outside raged like the fury of the universe itself, rain hammering the rooftops of New Terra. Rook, Lyra, and Sora crouched in the shadows of an abandoned spaceport, their breaths heavy, hearts racing. The starseed pulsed faintly inside Sora, like a heartbeat of a hidden world. Its light reflected in the puddles around them, casting long, strange shadows. Above, the black-armored soldiers scoured the streets. Drones buzzing in formation, scanning every corner, every shadow. "We can't keep running forever," Rook said. His voice firm but low, Lyra's violet eyes glowed, the energy around her crackling faintly. "They'll never stop," she whispered, trembling slightly. "The government. They want the Starseed, Sora. Everything it can do." Sora clung to her sister, small and fragile, yet glowing with a faint light. Her eyes met Rook's, and for a brief moment he saw fear, but also trust. "Then we fight," Rook said simply. Determination in every word, and in that moment, he realized that this was more than a rescue. More than survival, it was a stand for life itself. A defiance against greed, against control, against fear. They moved silently through the shadows, heading toward the edge of the spaceport. Rook checked his weapon. Lyra's hands glowed faintly. Feeding energy into Sora, the starseed pulsed faster now, responding to the danger. It was alive, aware, and desperate. The soldiers closed in, unaware that the trio had prepared for the final confrontation. Rook stepped into the open first, drawing fire. Lasers cut across the rain-slicked ground, sparks flying, echoing in the metal corridors. Lyra raised her hands, releasing waves of psychic energy that sent soldiers flying. The starseed pulsed violently inside Sora. Bright and dangerous, Rook grabbed her hands, grounding her fear. "Focus. Calm. Trust us," he whispered, and slowly, the pulsing stabilized, the light softening. It was a bond of trust, courage, and life, stronger than any weapon, stronger than fear itself. The soldiers regrouped, advancing with heavy steps, but Rook, Lyra, and Sora moved as one. Sora's glow extended outward, vines of light stretching into the air, wrapping around machinery, drones, and weapons. It wasn't destructive, at least not yet. It was alive, seeking protection, seeking control, seeking a safe path. Lyra guided her sister, calming her energy. Channeling it, Rook covered them, taking out the few remaining soldiers with precise shots. His determination unmatched. Then the unexpected happened. A final twist the humans had not anticipated. The starseed expanded, spreading its glowing vines across the spaceport, intertwining with the metal, machinery, and ground. It pulsed with a strange rhythm, a language older than words. Older than planets, the soldiers froze. Their weapons useless, their control systems failing. Rook realized the starseed was not just a weapon or power, it was a force of nature. A protector. It judged the intentions of those who confronted it, and it acted with purpose. Lyra whispered urgently to Sora, "You can end this. Release your fear, your anger. Let the starseed choose the path." Sora trembled, her small hands glowing, eyes wide. She whispered softly, I just want to live. I just want to protect." The starseed pulsed in response, a wave of light cascading over the spaceport. The soldiers and drones were frozen in place, unable to move, powerless against the living force. Rook and Lyra held her hands tightly. Guiding her through the fear, the starseed stabilized. Vines retreating, light softening, it was calm now, gentle. Almost grateful, Sora smiled faintly. Exhausted but alive, Lyra hugged her sister, tears mingling with rain, their glow dimming to a soft, peaceful hue. But the final challenge had not passed unnoticed. Rook's communicator buzzed a single line of transmission from the government. "Agent Rook, you are under arrest. Aiding alien fugitives is a crime against the colony." Rook clenched his jaw, knowing there was no turning back. Lyra glanced at him, fear in her violet eyes. Sora, surprisingly calm, stepped forward, her small hand glowing faintly. She looked at Rook, determination in her eyes. "Then we run together," she said, voice steady. Rook felt a strange warmth, courage flowing through him. The storm outside seemed to pause. as if the universe itself was holding its breath. And then they ran together into the shadows, the starseed's glow lighting their path, not as a weapon, but as a protector, a guide, a promise of life. Above, the government soldiers watched in disbelief. Unable to act, the starseed had chosen. And it had chosen life, courage, and hope. Rook looked at the sisters, realizing that the bond between them was stronger than any order, stronger than any weapon, stronger than fear itself. And as they disappeared into the night toward the unknown stars, Rook understood the truth of humanity, the reason they fought. The reason they survived. It was not power, not weapons, not laws. It was courage, compassion, and the unbreakable will to protect life. And somewhere far above New Terra, the stars shone a little brighter that night, for three beings, human and alien alike, had chosen hope over fear, life over death, and the universe just for a moment smiled.